You have just watched the Smart Futures training video. This video did mention that you cannot exchange contact information with your mentee. This is true for the Smart Futures platform. However, for the purposes of the LifeBridge mentoring program, you will be allowed to contact your mentee outside of the Smart Futures platform. We will provide you with the contact information for your mentee. You can choose the method of communication outside of the Smart Futures platform, such as Skype, phone, or in person.
Hello, my name is Patricia Demetrio. I am the president and founder of LifeSmart Education, which is hosting the LifeBridge mentoring program.
My name is Sarah Ryder, and I am the program manager for the LifeBridge mentoring program.
Thank you so much for participating in our program. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time, and as a mentor, you are very valued, and we cannot thank you enough for volunteering your time to help our students. So, what is a mentor? A mentor is a wise and trusted friend. Responsible mentoring is a structured one-to-one relationship that is a partnership that focuses on the needs of the mentee. Mentoring helps the mentee to develop his or her own vision for the future. Purpose of mentoring. Mentoring plays a crucial role in helping program participants to develop their personal and professional goals, communication skills, creative problem-solving skills, and the foundation of a network that will support them as they move through college and into the workforce. Goals of mentoring. Mentoring relationships within LifeBridge are designed to help reinforce the core program goals, as well as connecting program participants with working adults in fields related to their higher education and career interests. Goals of the program. We have 5 goals for this program: goal setting, building character, developing pathways to achievement, building a sense of resiliency, believing in a positive future. What is mentoring and what mentoring is not? A mentor is a friend, guide, listener, a confidant, a resource broker. A mentor is not a parent, social worker, babysitter, disciplinarian. Mentor roles and tasks. A mentor is a trusted guide or friend. Young people today do not get much of an opportunity to be friends with adults, especially adults who are caring and who are going to listen to them. He or she will provide access to people, places, and things that are outside of the mentee's routine environment. A positive role model. A mentor may be a positive role model. A role model is someone that the youth can aspire to be like, whereas a mentor is someone who offers to help the youth be whoever he or she wants to be. Today, youth have many role models. However, they are not necessarily positive role models. Now, key qualities of a good mentor. They are a good listener, they're persistent, they're committed, and patient. A mentor must understand that they cannot be all things to their mentees. Now, quite often when mentors run into problems in their relationships, it is because that the mentor and the mentee or the parent legal guardian did not understand the proper role of a mentor. The mentor may have taken on one of the following inappropriate roles: a parent or legal guardian. The role of a parent or legal guardian that is governed by law is to provide food, shelter, and clothing. It is not the mentor's role to fulfill these responsibilities. Now, if the mentor believes his or her mentee is not receiving adequate support, he or she should contact the mentor program coordinator rather than trying to meet the needs of his or her mentee. If you're acting as a social worker, or a licensed professional similar to a social worker with certain necessary skills to assist with family issues, you are not encouraged to act as that role in the mentee's life. Now, if a mentor believes that there is something wrong in the mentee's home or life, the mentor should share this concern with the mentor program coordinator and not assume the role of a social worker or attempt to solve the problem. You are not a psychologist. A mentor is not a formal counselor or a therapist. A psychologist or psychiatrist is a licensed professional. It is more appropriate for a mentor to act as a resource broker and to show the mentee how to assess the services and resources he or she needs than to provide these services. Mentoring is not a relationship in which the mentee passively receives instruction from the mentor. A relationship in which the mentor tries to mold the mentee into a version of themselves. It is not a relationship in which the mentor tries to solve the mentee's problems for themselves or for the mentor or give them all of the answers. Stages of a mentoring relationship. Stage 1, developing a rapport and building trust. The getting to know you phase is the most critical stage of the relationship. Things to expect and work on during stage 1 include predictability and consistency. Now, during the first stage of the relationship, it is critical to be both predictable and consistent. Testing. Young people generally do not trust adults. Establish confidentiality. During the first stage of the relationship, it is important to establish confidentiality with your young person. Goal setting. Once trust has been established, the relationship moves into this stage. During this stage, the mentor and the mentee, they can begin to start working toward the goals that they set in stage 1 of the relationship. Things to expect during stage 2 include closeness. Generally, during the second stage, the mentor and the mentee can get a sense of genuine closeness in the relationship. The relationship may be rocky or smooth. All relationships have their ups and they have their downs. Once the relationship has reached the second stage, there will still be some rough periods. Mentors should be prepared not to assume that something is wrong with the relationship if this happens. So please rely on staff support. Reach out to our program coordinator. They are here to help you if there are any issues at all with the relationship. So within this closure stage of the relationship, there's going to be a get-together with the student, the mentee, and the mentor. If that is not something we can do in person, we want to make sure that we end the relationship on a good note. It's important that the relationship has positive closure. Help establish a mutual trust and respect. Maintain regular interaction and consistent support. And make sure your meetings are enjoyable and they are fun. Act as a guide and or an advocate, a coach, and a model. Avoid acting as a professional case manager. View the role of a mentor as a friend rather than a counselor. Youth today. Adolescence is the time when young people, they develop knowledge and their attitudes and skills that become the foundation for a psychologically healthy adulthood. It is a period that is characterized by rapid changes and the need to achieve many significant developmental tasks. You'll be working with students within late adolescence, students who are 16 and older. Now, teenagers in this stage are most explicitly moving toward adult roles and responsibilities. Some are beginning to work full-time jobs, others are beginning families. Many achieve the ability to understand abstract concepts, and they become more aware of their limitations and how their past will affect their future. They understand the consequences of their actions and behaviors, and they grapple with the complexities of identity, values, and ethical principles. As a mentor, you will help the students in planning and helping them to reach their career goals. Students that come from at-risk environments really need help with planning their post-secondary and career goals. Tips for building a relationship. Be ready to help out. When your mentee lets you know that he or she is struggling with a problem, you can help out by following these tips. Be there for your mentee and make it clear that you want to help. Be a friend, not an all-knowing authority. Don't fix a problem, but ask questions and help your mentee figure out how to come up with the answers. Model ways to solve problems. You can also be a role model by describing how you overcame a similar problem in your life. Metaphor is a great teacher. Give your mentee a say. Once he or she comes up with a solution, don't try to come up with a better one, but help explore the possibilities and offer support, and be ready to help out by checking back and seeing how things have worked out. What stands in the way of a successful relationship? Mentors who focus first on building trust and becoming a friend to their youth tend to be more effective than mentors who immediately try to change or reform the youth. Adults whose attention is concentrated on reforming youth often are frustrated by the youth's lack of receptivity. These mentors make the mistake of pushing too hard and too quickly on the mentee's problems, pressing them to talk about sensitive issues before they are ready. Less successful mentors tend to do the following. They approach the relationship with narrow, specific goals aimed at changing the youth's behavior. They have difficulty meeting with youth on a regular and consistent basis, often demanding that youth play an equal role in initiating contact. Unsuccessful mentors often complain that their mentees do not call them to schedule meetings, or that youth fail to show up for meetings when they say they will. They attempt to instill a set of values that may be different from or inconsistent with those the youth is exposed to at home. Mentors cannot force youth to change. Too much focus on what is wrong with the youth is more likely to turn him or her away from the mentor. Adopting these ineffective strategies most often leads to dissatisfaction with the match and premature termination. Guidelines for the mentors. Do get to know your mentee. Try to really understand how things are for him or her now. Be positive, patient, dependable, honest, and sincere. Be consistent but flexible. Expect changes in their plans. Encourage and praise and compliment even the smallest of accomplishments is effective. Be an active listener. Use language that is easy to understand. Give concrete explanations. Be straight, honest, sincere. People pick up on falseness and shallowness. Ask for opinions and participation in decision making. Work with your mentee. Share your knowledge rather than giving advice. Be enthusiastic. It's contagious. Stress the positives. Follow the guidelines of the activities that are planned. Please reach out to your mentee if they fail to call you back. Please continue to reach out to your mentee if you have not heard a response from them in a timely fashion. It's up to the mentor to arrange weekly sessions. Reach out to the program coordinator if you are having difficulty reaching your mentee. If you are going to miss a mentoring session, it is important to let the mentee know that you did not forget about your mentoring session. Learn to appreciate your mentee's cultural and ethnic background. Strive to get along with cultural differences. Be open to what your mentee can teach you or share with you. Honor your commitment. This is extremely important. You'll hear this over and over again also. Have fun and be committed to being a mentor. Don't lend money. Don't violate confidences with the single exception of crisis intervention situations, in which case you must contact the program coordinator privately and immediately. Please don't forget your own adolescence. What do you wish an adult had said to you or done for you at the time in your life? Please do not attempt to become a surrogate parent to a child. Now, some helpful communication skills. Active listening is an attempt to truly understand the content and emotion of what the other person is saying by paying attention to verbal and nonverbal messages. The task is to focus, hear, respect, and communicate with your desire to understand. This is not the time to be planning a response or conveying how you feel. Active listening is not about nagging or reminding or threatening, criticizing, questioning, advising, evaluating, probing, judging, or ridiculing. These messages give the opportunity to keep the focus on you and explain your feelings in response to someone else's behavior. I messages don't accuse or point fingers. For example, I was really sad when you didn't show up for our meeting last week, or I looked forward to our meetings and was disappointed not to see you or to hear from you. In the future, I would appreciate it if you could call me and let me know when you will not be able to make it. Avoid this. You didn't show up, and I waited for an hour, and you could have at least called me and let me know that you wouldn't be there. You are irresponsible. Don't do that. Open-ended questions are extremely helpful when working with youth today. Especially teenagers, they tend to answer questions with as few words as possible. So to maintain an active dialogue without interrogating, try a few questions that cannot be answered with yes or no, or I don't know. Examples. How do you see this situation? Or what are your reasons for? Can you give me an example? How does this affect you? Or how did you decide that? What would you like to do about it? What part did you play? Sometimes saying, why did you do that? That may yield more of a defensive response rather than clarifying the response. Open-ended questions, they require a bit more time to answer than closed-ended questions. Questions that can be answered with a yes or no or a brief phrase. They give the person a chance to explain. Now, open-ended questions, they yield significant information that can help solve a problem. Communicate clearly. So remember, we do not want to judge, criticize, or blame the mentee, making a negative judgment or evaluating the child. Right now, we're going to discuss crises requiring intervention. This is very important. Crisis involves issues of grave concern that generally require direct and immediate intervention. Now, some of these issues, like child abuse or neglect, are mandated by law to be reported to the county. Now, others may require referral of a direct intervention by the mentor program coordinator. Mentors should never be expected to handle issues such as these alone. In addition, many of these issues require collaboration with families of mentees, and this should be handled by the mentor program manager. So some things that will require intervention: if your mentee talks to you about child abuse or neglect, abuse, relationships that have potential for abusive behavior, incest, dating violence or rape, chemical dependency or serious delinquency or arrests. These things require immediate attention and should be reported to the program manager. Know your appropriate role as a mentor. Please let your mentee know if your confidentiality does not hold. Provide information if the mentee is unaware of resources or other options. Problem solve with other resources. Maybe brainstorming with the mentee. Be creative in finding a solution. There is usually more than one way to handle a situation, and this process is educational for the mentee. Be collaborative with your mentee and follow through with any and all commitments. Some of the youth you'll be working with may come from dysfunctional home life environments, so your commitment to working with the mentee is extremely important to the well-being of the youth that you'll be mentoring. So please, if you've committed to being in this program, please stay till the end. The youth that you'll be working with is really, really excited to have you in their life.
There are two ways that you're going to be communicating with your mentee. The first one is through smartfutures.org. You're going to be logging on, and you and your mentee will complete 10 activities. At the end of the activities, you'll send an email message, and you can correspond that way, as well as being able to see each other's responses. The other is through phone or Skype sessions. Each week, you will set up a meeting for a phone or Skype session that will last anywhere between 40 and 60 minutes. We will provide you a guided checklist to ensure that you're covering all information with your mentee. We are also going to ask that you keep a log of your phone and Skype conversations. In this log, we will ask you to make sure that you're tracking the times that you're speaking with your mentee, as well as the dates and what information you covered with your mentee at that session. Each month, you will be corresponding with me and providing me your hours and information about your sessions, as well as any questions or concerns that may arise, and also just letting me know how your mentoring sessions are going. So once you receive your mentee's information, please send an initial email introducing yourself and providing your contact information, which would include your Skype user ID or phone number if that's how you're choosing to communicate, as well as your email address. You and the mentee should only meet for your mentoring sessions during school hours at the school. You and the mentee should not have any other face-to-face contact outside of the school or its operating hours. It's up to you to initiate conversation and set up times for your phone and Skype meetings. Your mentee is not used to sitting and talking to an adult who's genuinely interested in listening to them. It will take a little getting used to. Give them time and they will open up. Let them know that you are committed to meeting at the times discussed, whether it's through a phone conversation or through Skype. So I'm going to take a moment and talk to you about the website, smartfutures.org. So when you initially go to smartfutures.org, you're going to scroll to the bottom of the screen and click on the mentor sign up option. And it's going to take you to the next screen, and you're going to enter your contact information. It's going to ask you for your name, your phone number, and your address. Next, you will choose the LifeBridge mentoring program as the employer or organization. So then the next step, it's going to present you with an agreement. And at the bottom, it's going to ask you to sign it. So you're simply just going to enter your first and last name and click on enter. Once you've completed this training, it's going to take you to your dashboard. There are going to be 10 activities that you and your mentee are going to do on a weekly basis. I would recommend doing the first 2 activities so that you've completed them prior to your mentee completing their activities.
Most importantly, have fun, and thank you so much for becoming a mentor in the LifeBridge mentoring program. Welcome.